Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Newsletter Launchpad. I'm the host, Audrey Bell Kearney. So happy to be here with you this evening. I wanted to jump on and do a quick video because I had been working on I had launched a newsletter called the Gwinnett Morning Spark. And I had been talking to some people and they were trying to think about some side hustles and some things that they wanted to do. And, for me, being a Gen Xer, and been an entrepreneur for a very long time and kind of starting over in the newsletter space, I wanted to come on and talk about why I thought a newsletter would be a good idea for a side hustle or even for a full-time business. Like my company is a media company, and for me, it's a full-time business, but for somebody, it could be a part-time hustle, side hustle. So I wanted to give you my reasons why I thought that would be a good idea for Gen X, especially one who has something that they are passionate about. It's low cost. It's really simple to do. And what I'm learning is that it's not a whole lot of it's not a whole lot that you have to do to like when I think about everything that I do, right? I do so many things and I have to do all kinds of different marketing. When I started to look at newsletters and how people were actually earning money with newsletters, the one thing that they did was pick a niche and ran ads. And I was like, so my mind wouldn't even let me accept the fact that it was that simple. So these are some of the reasons why I'm going to go through some of the reasons why I feel like starting a newsletter as a Gen Xer would be a great idea for a side hustle or business. So like I said before, one of the reasons I feel like that is because it is so simple to start. So for me, I do a newsletter 5 days a week. Don't do that unless you really want to, unless you really, you have the time. I wouldn't suggest you do that. I do it 5 days a week. It's called Gwinnett Morning Spark. And I asked myself just today, what in the world possessed me to do a newsletter 5 days a week? I don't know what I was thinking about, but I publish my newsletter 5 days a week. It's called Gwinnett Morning Spark. And the reason I did that was because I host my podcast 4 days a week. I don't host a podcast on Friday, but 4 days a week live, I go live with my podcast, which is called Good Morning Gwinnett. So for me, it only made sense to put out a newsletter to go along with the podcast. That's a lot of work, y'all. So I'm not telling anybody to do that, but I will tell you this. It takes me about 2 hours to do an issue every day. And I could automate it, but because my newsletter is kind of like hyper local, like my podcast, I have to talk about the news like as it happens, sort of. And so for me, it's like if I put out some news today, it's got to be like for tomorrow or a couple of days later. It can't be something that's kind of like old. So I decided to publish 5 days a week. And I'm rethinking it now because it really is a lot. I decided to publish 5 days a week. I use a platform called Beehiiv, which I absolutely love. And the reason I like it is because for me, it's real simple to use, and I like it's got a couple of features that I really love. One of the features that I really love is the fact that I can duplicate the newsletter from the day before. So because my template stays the same, I just hit duplicate and then I just edit. The biggest part about doing my newsletter is finding the content to go in the newsletter. Now, what I will say is if you're thinking about starting this, you're Gen Xer, you want to start something, you want to grow it into something, I would say pick a niche. Don't pick. There are people making good money doing local newsletters, right? So when I thought about that, I was like, well, I'm doing a little hyper local podcast. I'll do a hyper local newsletter. I have a hyper local news site. So it all makes sense, right? But when you think about, especially if you're new, when you think about trying to monetize that, if you're new, if you are going to go up against the big news media outlets in your town or your county, that's going to be like a uphill climb, right? So just think about the niche that you want to produce for your newsletter. So, you may be in health and wellness. Publish a health and wellness newsletter, and specifically pick something in specific, right? Weight loss. Let's go with that. You're a Gen Xer. You're trying to be healthy. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing another newsletter specifically around that, and I'll talk about that more in a couple of other episodes. But pick a niche that's a niche, not a real super narrow niche, but a niche where you can stay in the niche, you can become an authority on that niche, but it's got to be something that you like, right? So Gwinnett is where I live. So it made sense for me to do Gwinnett Morning Spark. I do the Good Morning Gwinnett podcast 4 days a week. So it kind of made sense. But if I had to start over, which I'm about to start a new newsletter now with a business partner, um, we picked a niche. We picked a niche. We picked a niche because I felt like, okay, this right here, Gwinnett Morning Spark, when there's no news happening in the county, that's hard. I put profiles of people who live in the county that's doing great things. So it's called, our motto in Gwinnett County is called Success Lives Here. So I try to find people and I try to put their stories in the newsletter. Well, sometimes I can't find anybody and it takes me hours just to find somebody. I also put it I also put in a fun fact about Gwinnett, another thing that takes me so much time. And then I throw in a little bit of business, a little bit of money. I just do some inspiration at the top of the show. So I feel like I have too many moving parts that take a lot of time. So that's why I'm telling you, if you're thinking about starting a newsletter, pick a niche. Pick a niche that you can go deep, deep, deep on, right? And what I would say let's say for instance, your niche is how to be healthy at 50, right? And I wouldn't suggest you do 5 days a week, not unless you really have the time and the passion, because it's a lot of work. But I will say maybe weekly, right? What you could do is go to ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT to give you 52 topics on how to be healthy when you're 50 years old or older, right? And then you take those and then you create your information around it. You create your stories or whatever around it. And then you just do that every week. The reason I said 52 is because it's 52 days, 52 weeks in a year. So if you plan on putting out an episode every single week, this is a great opportunity for you to create your outline, get everything written out, and then just write and then put in your newsletter. The other thing you can do is curate the entire newsletter. I know that there are some people, their entire newsletter is just based up of summaries and curation from other people's content. So let's say, for instance, you go to Google, you click up Google Trends, right? You find something that's trending in your niche. And instead of you having to write the article, you write the summary about the article, and then you link back to the article. People have built $1 million newsletters based on just curating content. I could have taken that approach. I did not. I took the hard approach. I'm telling you, don't do that. You're gonna burn your. I'm on the verge of being burned out already. I'm 3 months in already, and I'm already on the verge of being burned out because no, I think I'm 2 months in. No, I don't know. I'm in. I have a lot of issues out right now, but I'm on the verge of being burned out. And I don't want you to get burned out because I feel like it's such a great idea. I feel like you should pick a niche, pick a day of the week that you're going to publish and then go live with that day. Don't do like me. Now, if you decide, you know what, after doing maybe a week, okay, I feel like I can do this a little bit more, then add another day. Okay, I feel like I can do this a little bit more, then add another day. But do not, I'm telling you, do not try to do 5 days a week unless you have a team, unless you have a somebody that can help you out, unless you have the time. I just wouldn't do it. I'm doing it right now and it's a lot. So and plus I do some other things. I'm the president of a chamber of commerce. I do a lot of stuff. Not a lot, but I do a lot of big stuff. So it's easy to get started. I use Beehiiv, but I've heard of a company called Substack. I've heard somebody say they use ConvertKit. And then people use MailChimp, they use Brevo. I happen to like Beehiiv because I just like the simplicity of it. There's another feature inside of Beehiiv that I absolutely love, like hyperlinking my article. So at the top, I have a little table of contents, and all you have to do is highlight the contents and then click on the little anchor button, and it'll pull up everything that's in that article for that day, in that issue for that day, and you can just highlight. I think that's so cool because on my WordPress site, I be trying to do that kind of stuff and it just don't work. But on my Beehiiv, I love it. So that's a feature that I like. So I pay $39 a month for Beehiiv, which I think is well worth every dime. It allows me to publish, I think, 3 newsletters. Right now I'm publishing 1. I'm about to publish my second one. I'm excited about that, and I'll tell you guys more about that. It's going to be super uber niche down. It's not going to be like Gwinnett Morning Spark. It's easy to use. It's inexpensive. It also allows you to monetize it right out the gate. So here's what I mean by that. So Beehiiv has something called Boost, right? So when you launch your newsletter, you can go and check out other newsletters. Those newsletters are paying for people to help them get subscribers to their newsletter. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Well, I decided I was going to do that. And I think I made like probably 2-3 days in, I made like $8 almost. It was like $7.19. I was like, what? Just from me referring other people's newsletters when they signed up for my newsletter. So I thought that was pretty cool. So they allow you to make money right out the gate. They also allow you to advertise your newsletter to other newsletter subscribers. So you got a whole bunch of newsletter publishers on the platform. You can put up an ad and say, hey, I'm looking for subscribers to my newsletters. I'm going to pay $1 per subscriber up to a certain amount of money. And then what happens is people will apply to promote your newsletter. And if it's a good fit, because you want people that's going to open your newsletter, you don't want just anybody. But if their audience is a good fit for your audience, you can accept them and then they can promote it. And then when they promote it, you just pay the bill. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's something we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing moving forward is putting using Boost to advertise my newsletters through other people's newsletters on the platform. So you can make money with the platform. You can grow your audience with the platform. It's easy to use, and all you got to do is pick a niche. And I just think that's such a great way. And then spend some time and make a commitment. Make the commitment, set aside a day and a time that you're gonna, like my new newsletter that I'm gonna be doing. Tuesdays is the day I'm gonna work on that. It's gonna be weekly. It's gonna come out on Sundays. I have a partner. We're splitting up the duties on that, so it's not so overwhelming because she does other stuff like I do other stuff. So we want to make sure that we both have the time and we're not burned out. So we decided to split up the duties for the newsletter. She does 2 days a week, 2 days a month. I do 2 days a month. But Tuesdays is our day to work on the newsletter. So we both work on it on Tuesdays. Perfect. We set a time. It's going to go out on Sundays at 10 a.m. in the morning. And it's going to be a quick and easy. It's going to be, I feel like it's going to be such a good newsletter because even when I think about it, it makes me smile. It makes me laugh. Right. And she actually wrote one article. It's hilarious. And the things that I'm thinking about writing are hilarious. So I'm excited about that. So that's why I'm saying I really believe that this is a great opportunity for Gen Xers who are thinking about starting a side hustle. Even if you don't want to write yourself, just let somebody else publish with you. You know what I mean? Give them some direction, pay them a fee, and say, I want you to do this newsletter for me. And then you can be on the receiving end of that, and you just pay somebody. People do it all the time. Like, someone asked me to publish their newsletter for them, and I was like, I really don't have the time. Like, I don't have the time because my time is cut between my business and me being the president of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce. So that my time is like, I don't have the time. But you may have the time and you may say, you know what, I want to publish mine and I want to publish a couple of other people's. Or you may say, you know what, I want a newsletter. I don't want to be the editor of the newsletter. I want to be the publisher, which means you own the newsletter. You just proof everything, give your stamp of approval, and keep it moving. You could do that. So, I hope I didn't sound like I was rambling, but I just felt like I needed to jump on here and just share like why I thought that, what I thought about starting a newsletter as a Gen Xer. I'm a Gen Xer with a very full schedule, but I feel like my newsletter business is going to surpass all of my businesses, and I'm super excited about that. I feel like it's going to be the business that retired me. Not that I'll ever retire, because I like what I do. So, but if I want to retire, I feel like my newsletter business will be the business that's going to retire me. And in a couple of other episodes, I'll talk more about what I'm doing to monetize, what I'm doing to grow the audience. Like right now, for Gwinnett Morning Spark, I had a goal of reaching 15,000 subscribers in 90 days. I have fallen short already. One, because I wasn't focused. That's the first thing. But two, I really feel more passionate about the new newsletter that we're going to launch versus Gwinnett Morning Spark. Like, I like it. I like doing it. But I feel like this other one is going to be more me. Like, it's because it's not such a niche newsletter. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun for the readers. I think it's going to be informative and entertaining all at the same time to our niche. It's going to be very niche down. So it's not going to be like, I feel like, even though I feel like Gwinnett Morning Spark is kind of niche, I feel like it's still not niche enough, or it's too niche. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it didn't sound like I was rambling, but if you want to learn more about news, I've been publishing newsletter for a long time, y'all. I've been publishing, I started out publishing print newsletters back in 1994-ish when it was just paper. And then I started publishing on Constant Contact when they first came out. And then I stopped because nobody was making money with newsletters at the time. At least I didn't think so. And then I stopped and started doing some other things in the media space. So now I'm back 360 around, back to digital newsletters, and really enjoying it. And I'm looking at like all the possibilities. And I feel like if you are trying to figure out what you want to do, this may be a great opportunity for you. All right. So thank you for stopping by my channel. Hey, be sure to subscribe. Hit the button below. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. Yes, I'm supposed to go on every Friday, but I kind of been like, I don't know what I'm doing right now with the newsletter, so I haven't recorded anything. However, I will be very diligently moving, and this is a special edition. I will be recording more episodes every Friday and dropping new episodes every Friday. So subscribe to the channel, and it's all about growing your business as a newsletter publisher. You know, if you're a GenXer, you want to do a side hustle. If you're not a GenXer, you may be a millennial, you may be a Gen Z. I don't know. You're thinking about starting a newsletter. Stick around for this channel. I've been doing this for a minute now. I'm looking forward to seeing how far I can take digital newsletters in this new day and age, and seeing how newsletters are making a comeback. And I'm going to be happy to come back and share them with you. All right, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again next time. So until next time, my friends, until next time, make it a great day. Bye, everybody.
Hello, GenXer. Welcome to the Newsletter Launchpad. This channel is dedicated to helping you